So you guys know me, I'm Chris. All right, there we go. So I want to talk about list formatting, a couple of different things with it. So we're not going to talk about the kind of internals of formatting today. I want to talk about a couple of changes to some of the list experiences that affect formatting to make it even more powerful. So let's head over to our classic Warrior Horses site. All right, we've seen this a number of times. All right, if we go over to like our agents list over here, we'll take a look. We have our formats all kind of aligned on here. We've got a field, customizer here, and that's cool. All that works great. But now in targeted release, if we hit Quick Edit, we can actually see those formats are applying directly within the Quick Edit, which is really, really awesome. So you'll notice even my row formatter with the row class starts happening here. So I click in here, I can actually edit these things. When I hit to edit, you can see the format is removed. And I have my kind of classic editing experience here, so I can uncheck a couple of things. But as soon as I click off of that, there's my updated changes here. All right, so that's really, really powerful. It's super awesome. There are a couple of limitations with it, right? Number one being that field customizers obviously aren't supported in the quick edit mode. But the formatting, column formatting, and row formatters that are row class are fully supported. If we look at a row formatter or a view format that is a full-on row formatter where we've got the whole thing, all right, and we hit Quick Edit, we can actually be relieved that this does not try and draw it all in that way and try and figure out where on earth I should click for various things. Okay? All right, so that's one thing. That's really, really cool. But there's also some other stuff you guys may or may not have seen, which is this idea here. If I go over to our hipster stuff site, right, and I hit this new, and I go new list, I get this thing we've seen forever. Boring. But good news, we hit site contents here. I have no idea why these experiences are different, but they are. But if I go to site contents and I hit new, I go new list, we see I get this whole fancy create a list experience. Right? If you guys haven't seen this, this is really awesome. And this is both in standard release and target release, except for this from Excel. I think that's just targeted release right now. But I choose this from existing list, and I come in here, and we give this a second here while it loads up my sites. I'm going to come down here, and I can actually grab from my Warrior Horses site any of these lists. All right, so say I want to grab kind of our classic things list here. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to call that hipster things because, that sounds great. So we'll create that, and you notice it automatically moves everything over. I've got all my columns here, and if I hit this a new one, right, I'm just going to do a thing, right? We'll say the progress is 54%, and it's assigned to myself, right? And we'll just kind of leave it there. We'll uncheck that and we'll hit save. All right, you'll notice all my formats came over, no problem, right? So we got the fancy gauge we showed off in the last call, right? We got our face pile, our checkboxes, everything came over with it. So all our formats, hugely powerful. So now your formats work all across the board, right? We even get all our views over here. So when I do things like my alternating view, right, I've only got one item, but you'll notice because I use the theme classes, right, it matches the hipster stuff theme rather than the Warrior Horses site theme here. So you can see now there's even more and more power to all of this. A couple of strange things to note right now is that you'll notice titles here and completes over here. When I copied it, the order changed. Or it didn't change. It changed before. That's great. Ignore what I said. But a couple other things here is, it's because I'm on my all items view. There it is. You notice there it's swapped in the default view. A couple other strange things is, although if I click this and I go to flow, I don't have any flows set up for this list, right? I just created this list, but you'll notice my flow button did come over. If I click that, and I wouldn't rely on this because it seems a little strange. If I click that, I can actually still launch that flow from my other site. And if I run it, it actually does work with this list item. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but it's interesting. The main point is that all my formats came over. Now, if I come back to my site contents, I want to try one more thing here. If I go to new and I create a new list, right, we go back to this experience from an existing list. Now, this time I'm going to grab that agents list we were looking at before. So select my Warrior Horses site, agents. We'll also call it agents because hipsters also need agents. Notice here I've got some additional lists and fields. That's because I've got a site column. It's actually that reorder column that has that field customizer SharePoint framework extension associated with it. And I grab that. And then, of course, we need to add a couple of items here. So let's add BLE Billy's son. That sounds like a great name. All right, we'll say +1, blah, blah, blah. That's his phone number. And we'll just grab a picture right here so we can just have that. Okay, sounds great. So we save that. All right, notice all those formats are coming over. Let's create just one more so we can see things in action, right? So we'll call this old man. I should really think about these ahead of time. All right, grab that, and we'll say our phone number is +1, blah, 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 blah. That's good. Grab this guy. Boom. And we're going to save that. So now we've got these things here. So all our formats came over, but you'll notice something really interesting is that our field customizer also came over, right? So this is our reorder field customizer. All that came over. That was not activated on this site, that custom action. But because I had tenant deployment on that extension, it appears to have come over, which is awesome news. So really, really cool stuff. As you can see, making your formats far more useful across your entire tenant with some of these new experiences across your quick edit and across everything else. So it's perfect time to get far more involved in creating these things. So to summarize, with formatting quick edit, your column format's fully supported. When you click on it, you're going to go back to your standard edit interface. Row formats are partially supported, right? So your row class formats are going to work great. One thing to note that if you've got a color across that entire bar, when you edit an item, it seems to be putting kind of a blue shade, regardless of your theme for whatever reason, on there to kind of mark that. It's not a big deal, but just something to note. That's not something you're doing wrong. That's just part of the quick edit experience. And again, only in targeted release for now. So if you log into your standard tenant and it's not there, don't cry. It'll come soon. And then the new list creation experience, right? This is just from the site contents for now. I imagine that will move also to the main page, but it's copying all your formats. The field view customizer extensions are coming along, but list view command sets are not, at least as far as I could see from my kind of limited testing on that. But all of this is available in standard release. And finally, check out the full documentation on column formatting and view formatting, because again, this is the perfect time to get involved in some of that. We've got a ton of samples available for you here at this link with the list formatting samples. We've got I think we've got 60 plus samples at this point. Show you to do everything I showed here today, plus a bunch more stuff. And if you want to read more about what happened with the quick edit experience, check this out right here. All right, that's all I got for now. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Just a few additional kind of points on the column formatting. Column formatting page, by the way, is the #1 most viewed SharePoint developer documentation page. So every single month, it's been like that for the past 6 months. So clearly, Chris's demos are causing a lot of attention on this one, and people are eagerly want to test the things. But please go to the GitHub. I think there's how many samples GitHub has? Like 50?
Like 62 at this point.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, which is really good. Now, one thing to notice on the column formatting also is that it partially works. Column formatting partially works in SharePoint 2019, but then SharePoint Online always has the latest and greatest capabilities, because SharePoint 2019 is quite an old version already, even though it's currently 2019, but it was actually created from SharePoint Online a while back, and SharePoint Online is getting the new and latest and greatest capabilities every single week. So it's always evolving much faster. But thank you, Chris, for this demo.